My name is Rasha. My thesis is called Rasha Dorman. My thesis is called A Prey at Prey, a Cosmic Irony. So the research begins with the story of a man marked by the image of his deceased fiancée. I take Artie, my character's name is Artie. I take Artie's 1055 Facebook posts and as one form of representation and seek a design process that deliberately represents the representation. It led me to abstract the relationships between architecture as a purveyor of an unseen space, because the texts that you write about, they are not there, they are mnemonic texts, they are imagined texts and fantasy texts. So it led me to abstract the relationship between architecture as a purveyor of an unseen space, the unconscious, and the body left in between. My first intervention started with a score. I took Artie's 1066 letters and mapped them from Facebook day by day. The legend of the score goes as follows. I will not go into the details, but I mapped so this is basically the diameter of 20 words, and each posts how it's changing in its writing. The thick dark circles, the thick line weight, are the posts where he is in disbelief. The normal line weights, they are the posts where he's in experiencing the loss, and the posts of where he is in reintegration, it is a dotted circle. What this gave me, this oral landscape gave me, is that the moments where he attempts to let go, the circle is nearly negligible, so you barely see it on the score. It's a dotted circle that's usually 2 words, and he fails to describe it. He simply refers to it, has decided to let go, or is letting go. However, he relapses, and the circles continue again. The thick black line that cuts through is the anniversary of her death, and you can see along the years how it changes. The most interesting to me was 2015. He's silent in most of the year. However, along the anniversary of death, it's an explosion of writing, and silence reappears after that. So I took Artie's text, the poem, as one form of representation. His photographs that he put, some you can see in the book, as another form of representation. And I translated that into a logbook, a score, 6 archetypal paintings from each inspired from one of his photographs. So the pier, the cabin house, the abyss, the tombstone, the chairlift, and the cows and the truck. While doing this process, I was also representing the representation I'm doing by doing another representation. So when ink was dropping, I was stamping the ink. I was stamping the ink to create another representation from it. What this led me to is this archetypal condition is also known in psychology. So we have a book that I was inspired by, The Hero Within. I have the innocent, the warrior, the wanderer, the orphan, the martyr, and the magician. I took these as compasses, and I wanted to see how Artie was alternating in that. From the score and from the locations that he's been going throughout the years, which led me to say that I need to create an archetypal site. I can't have just one location where the project happens. I started getting contour lines and assembling landscape. So basically you have 4 continents in this landscape, and it goes from the River of Hate in Portugal to Yerevan, to Lake Sevan in Armenia, back to Ribeira de Odiaxar in Portugal, all the way, and I end in Tilal al-Matan, which is his current residence now, and it is where the trauma is happening now. However, when he comes back here in my design, in my process, it would be a revisiting of this experience. I ended thesis 1 by questioning, by spatializing the unconscious and the unseen. Is it possible to awaken the hero within? Thesis 1 ended with the red line that was my cut line, or the section that I was imagining Artie to pass through. I represented my representation through doing an archetypal site, which is the journey. When I came to draw a section of this site, I thought that this guy is in a constant shift. He's between being the orphan, the innocent, etc. Who am I to decide where he is the orphan, where he is the warrior? And I thought, like any human being, no emotion is lived twice the same. So I took the longitudinal section, which is the red line that cuts through, and I represented it through model, and I cut my section with a guillotine machine. The section became this one, these pieces that are along the side, and then I stamped the cut guillotine machine with red acrylic ink on linen, and this became my longitudinal section at 1 to 2000. To be able to intervene at an architectural scale, I had to zoom in even more. So the cut section became my 1 to 200 cut side section, which you see here. So basically, at 1 to 2000, this is the section of the model you see there. This is the one at 1 to 2000, and the architectural interventions happen all along the way. I will guide you through the last one so that I don't waste a lot of time. So this is the last moment where the section happens. It is part 6 in my narrative, and it's called Lighthouse as Tombstone. So I will read this passage. At the end of the journey, upon RT's arrival to the lighthouse, it starts to rain. The abyss invites RT to enter. The section of the cliff indicates scattered body parts, the hand being the most apparent, inaccessible and invisible to RT. Yet he is confined by her presence, residing inside the stone which is her tombstone. As water fills up the cavities inside the lighthouse, RT can either take the lighthouse's spine up towards the view that overlooks the journey, or he can choose to drown. Hence, I'm done. Or he can choose to drown. Basically, water level will keep him up, and this is the maximum point where water reaches, because water will fill up here, so this is the maximum level. He will be stuck there here, hence he will die inside her tombstone. The journey ends only to begin again, leaving the prey at prey. I'm giving my character 2 options, and the whole idea behind it is, by spatializing the unconscious and the unseen, is it possible to awaken the hero within? My answer is, my process shows me that one awakens the hero only through inhabiting the representation of the hero. So this work becomes a manifestation of a character living in his representations, not more so. These are his representations. And how I'm planning to continue is,
I need to know what's the architectural end product.
My architectural end product is this section. So this is a 1 to 200 section of the cliff, which I'm currently modeling in depth. And my intervention would be along this section, modeling and designing the lighthouse, the drowning point, and basically the 6 archetypes which all exist here: the abyss, the pier, the cabin. I am designing them now in model making by crafting them, and I have a schematic visionary plan.
On a small scale.
Yeah, basically it is at the scale of the stamp. This is the scale of 1 to 200, the bigger scale. So this is where I am now.
It's great, but it would be nice to see.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing for that.
I hope you have time.
Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, thank you.
Good luck.
I can see the effort.